Look at your life right now. You are not stuck because you lack opportunity. You are not stuck because you lack capital, and you are certainly not stuck because the economy is against you. You are paralyzed by a mental program you did not even choose, repeating the exact same identical year over and over again and desperately calling it a life. I have spent well over 50 years studying why brilliant, educated individuals consistently live small, frustrating lives, while others who can barely read or write build incredible wealth and leave massive legacies. Let me be unequivocally clear with you right from the start. Your thoughts, when repeated and internalized, create habits, and those habits dictate absolutely every single result you experience. There is no luck involved. There is no accident. Every choice you make, whether you are consciously aware of it or operating on pure blind autopilot, generates inevitable practical consequences.
You see, most people sleepwalk through their entire existence. They wake up, they go to a job they fundamentally despise, they earn just enough to keep themselves entirely dependent on the next paycheck, and they return home to numb their minds with mindless entertainment. This is not living. This is merely existing within a prison of your own making, constructed by a paradigm that was handed to you before you could even speak. I know this because I lived it. I was born in 1934, and for a very long time I was going absolutely nowhere. I was working meaningless jobs, carrying around debt, earning maybe $4,000 a year while owing $6,000. I thought that was just my lot in life. I thought wealth and success were reserved for a special class of people, people who had connections, people who had superior intellects or formal education. I was completely wrong. My reality only began to shift when I realized that my external world was nothing more than a perfect, unforgiving reflection of my internal mental state. Society has conditioned you to believe that hard work is the ultimate answer. We live in a world molded by industrialization, where the primary objective of the educational system was never to teach you how to think. It was designed to train you to conform, to memorize facts, to pass tests, and to eventually take your place on an assembly line or in a cubicle, following orders without ever questioning the nature of the work. You are trained to believe that safety and security are the highest goals a human being can aspire to. But let me ask you this. Where is the security in surrendering your potential to a corporation that would replace you in a heartbeat? Where is the safety in allowing your income to be dictated by someone else entirely? There is no security outside of your own ability to direct your conscious mind. The mind is not your brain. The brain is an electronic switching station. The mind is an activity. You have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is your thinking mind, your educated mind. It can accept or reject any idea. It can originate ideas. But your subconscious mind is entirely different. It is your emotional mind. It cannot reject anything. It must accept whatever is handed to it, and it cannot differentiate between what is real and what is purely imagined. When you were an infant, your conscious mind was not yet developed. Every conversation your parents had about money, every limitation they expressed, every fear they harbored about the economy or their own inadequacy was poured directly into your wide-open subconscious mind. Those ideas took root. They formed a multitude of habits. That collection of habits is what we call a paradigm. A paradigm is a mental program that has almost exclusive control over your habitual behavior, and almost all of your behavior is habitual. When you try to change your results by merely changing your behavior without altering the underlying paradigm, you are engaged in a futile battle. You might force yourself to work harder. You might take on a second job. You might try a new routine, but within a few weeks or months, you will snap right back to your old results. Why? Because the paradigm always wins. It pulls you back like a heavily coiled spring. You cannot outperform your own self-image. If you subconsciously believe you are a person who earns $50,000 a year, and suddenly you land a massive contract that brings in $200,000, your paradigm will cause you to engage in self-sabotaging behavior until you lose or spend that extra money and return to your $50,000 comfort zone. It happens every single time. It is a universal law of cause and effect. Yet, look around at the modern world. People are utterly obsessed with gathering more information. They are consuming endless streams of courses, attending seminars, reading countless articles, and watching thousands of videos. They know exactly what they need to do, but they simply do not do it. Their intellect is overloaded with data, but their paradigm remains completely untouched. They seek external shortcuts, secret formulas, and magical interventions, hoping that some new piece of software or a new trend will suddenly deliver the prosperity they crave. They complain about the government, they blame the economic climate, they point fingers at their bosses or their upbringing. This is the ultimate form of victimhood. It is intellectual cowardice. As long as you assign the cause of your current circumstances to something outside of yourself, you are completely powerless to change it. You are handing over your power to the very things you despise. True responsibility means recognizing that your current bank account, your current relationships, your current state of health, and your current level of happiness are the exact physical manifestations of the thoughts you have permitted to occupy your mind. It is a harsh truth, and most people will violently reject it because it strips away all of their excuses. If you are broke, it is because you have a poverty consciousness. If you are stuck in a miserable job, it is because you have accepted mediocrity as your standard. If you want to change these external conditions, you must engage in the most difficult labor known to humanity, which is the labor of sustained, focused thought. Most people do not think. Mental activity does not constitute thinking. If you were truly thinking, you would not be accepting the limitations imposed upon you by society. You would recognize that you possess higher mental faculties. You have perception, will, reason, imagination, memory, and intuition. These are your creative tools. But instead of using your imagination to build an internal image of prosperity and success, you use it to worry. Worry is the misuse of the imagination. It is the process of visualizing precisely what you do not want to happen, internalizing that negative image, feeling the emotion of fear, and thereby instructing your subconscious mind to move your body into actions that inevitably produce the exact result you were dreading. It is a self-fulfilling prophecy driven by a fundamental misunderstanding of the laws of the universe. The law of attraction is not some mystical, magical concept. It is a secondary law. The primary law is the law of vibration. Everything in the universe rests in a state of vibration. Nothing rests. The thoughts you think dictate the vibration your mind and body are in. That vibration dictates what you attract into your life. You can only attract energy that is in harmonious resonance with you. You cannot attract absolute wealth if your entire emotional being is vibrating with the frequency of lack and desperation. It is physically and scientifically impossible. You must build the image of prosperity on the screen of your conscious mind, and you must plant that image into your subconscious through repetition and intense emotion. This is not a casual exercise. It requires an iron will. Your current paradigm will fight you. When you decide to step out of your comfort zone, you will hit what I call the terror barrier. Doubt and fear will flood your conscious mind. Your friends and family will tell you that you are being unrealistic, that you should play it safe, that you should be grateful for the miserable little job you have. If you listen to them, you will retreat back into bondage. You will trade your freedom for the illusion of security. The people who change the world, the people who build phenomenal success, are the ones who smash right through that terror barrier. They understand that on the other side of that intense fear is their freedom. They do not allow their external environment to dictate their internal state. Most people operate from the outside in. They look at their bank account, they let the bank account dictate their thoughts create their feelings drive their actions, and their actions produce the exact same bank account. It is an endless loop of mediocrity. You must learn to live from the inside out. You must originate the idea of wealth in your mind, regardless of what your current external circumstances dictate. You must hold that image with unwavering faith.
Faith is not a religious concept in this context. Faith is the ability to see the invisible and believe in it so deeply that it becomes your inevitable reality. This requires intense discipline. It requires you to stop wasting your precious time on mindless distractions. You cannot spend hours scrolling through other people's lives and expect to build a masterpiece of your own. Every single second you spend dwelling on negativity, gossiping, or complaining is a second you have actively chosen to reinforce the very paradigm that is keeping you broke and miserable. You have to take full, unadulterated responsibility for your own mind. No one is coming to save you. The government is not going to fix your life. Your employer is not going to suddenly recognize your unexpressed genius and hand you a fortune. If you want to earn massive wealth, you have to provide service that warrants massive wealth. And you can only do that when your mind is tuned to the frequency of abundance and value creation. The industrial age conditioned you to trade your time for money. That is the worst possible way to generate income. You have a limited amount of time.
If you only trade time for money, you will eventually hit a ceiling you cannot break through. Wealthy people do not trade time for money. They trade value. They build systems. They multiply their efforts through the proper understanding of cause and effect. But you cannot comprehend or execute these strategies if your mind is clouded by the fear of poverty. You must clean the lens through which you view the world. You must recognize that you are an intellectual being living in a physical body, with a spiritual essence that is always seeking expansion and fuller expression. That dissatisfaction you feel, that gnawing sense that you are meant for more, is your essence urging you to grow. But your paradigm suppresses it. Your paradigm tells you to be realistic. I am telling you that realism is the death of greatness. Every major leap forward was initiated by an individual who completely rejected the realistic constraints of their time and held a magnificent image in their mind until the world conformed to it. You have that exact same power lying dormant within you. It is not reserved for a chosen few. It is universal. But it requires you to stop acting like a victim of circumstance. It requires you to stop looking for external validation. It requires you to study yourself. Most people spend more time studying how to operate their daily tools than they do studying how their own mind functions. They are entirely ignorant of the mechanism that controls their entire destiny. They drift through the years, hoping things will get better, relying on sheer luck. Hope without action is simply a delusion. You must study. You must observe. You must become completely aware of the habitual thoughts that run through your head the moment you wake up. Are you dreading the day?
Are you complaining about the weather? Are you already stressing about the bills you have to pay in United States dollars? If so, you are actively commanding your subconscious mind to create another day of struggle. You must interrupt that pattern. You must consciously inject new ideas into your mind. You must rewrite the script. It is exactly like recording over an old tape. You have to record the new paradigm over the old one through constant spaced repetition. This is why reading a single volume once does absolutely nothing. This is why attending one event will not change your life. You can gather all the intellectual knowledge in the world, but until it sinks into the subconscious and alters the paradigm, your behavior will remain exactly the same. You will just be a frustrated person with a lot of useless information. I have watched countless intelligent people with advanced formal education, fail miserably in the real world because their paradigm was programmed for failure. Their schooling taught them how to remember facts, but it never taught them how to win. It never taught them how to govern their own emotional state. They crumble at the first sign of adversity. They let criticism destroy their momentum. Why? Because they have a weak self-image. Your self-image is the foundation of your paradigm. How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a struggling worker, forever trying to make ends meet? Or do you see yourself as a powerful, creative center of your universe, capable of manifesting any outcome you deeply desire? You cannot consistently perform in a manner that is inconsistent with the way you see yourself. If you want to change your results, you must first change your internal identity.
You have to start walking, talking, and acting like the person you want to become long before the physical results materialize. You must elevate your level of conscious awareness. Awareness is the key to everything. You can only earn money to the exact level of your awareness of how to earn money. You can only experience health to the exact level of your awareness of how to maintain harmony in your body. When you expand your awareness, your results automatically improve. But expanding awareness requires you to abandon the comfort of ignorance. It requires you to aggressively challenge every belief you hold to be true. Where did you get your beliefs about money? Who taught you that earning a lot of money is greedy or difficult? Was it someone who was actually wealthy, or was it someone who was struggling to pay their own rent? Why would you accept financial advice from someone who was broke? It is sheer lunacy, yet people do it every single day.
They inherit a poverty paradigm from their parents, pass it on to their children, and call it a family tradition. You must break that cycle. You must be the one to sever the chain of generational ignorance. It demands courage. It demands unwavering commitment. You have to sit down in a quiet room, completely alone, and force yourself to think. What do you actually want? Not what you think you can get, not what your spouse thinks you should have, but what do you deeply, truly desire? Most people cannot answer that question. They are so disconnected from their own core that they do not even know what they want. Once you define that desire, you must write it down. You must create a crystal clear image of it. And then you must impress it upon your subconscious mind with absolute intensity every single day. You do not worry about how it is going to happen. The process is not your responsibility to micromanage at the start.
Your responsibility is the destination and the relentless drive. When your mind is fully committed to the end result, the universe will supply the means. The law of attraction will begin to draw toward you the people, the circumstances, the ideas, and the resources necessary for the physical manifestation of that image. But this only happens if you maintain absolute harmony between your conscious desires and your subconscious paradigm. If you consciously desire wealth, but subconsciously feel unworthy of it, the subconscious will win every time. You will repel the very opportunities you are seeking. You will literally sabotage your own success and then blame the economy. You must understand that your mind is an extraordinarily powerful magnet. It is constantly broadcasting a frequency, and it is constantly pulling things into your life that match that frequency. You are the master of the dial. You can tune your mind to the frequency of absolute prosperity, or you can tune it to the frequency of despair. The choice is yours, and yours alone. You cannot delegate this task. You cannot hire someone to do your thinking for you. The heavy lifting must be done in the silent chambers of your own mind. It is time to wake up. It is time to step out of the hypnotic rhythm of the masses. It is time to stop functioning on autopilot and start directing your own destiny. The power is not outside of you. It is not in a new job, it is not in a different city, and it is certainly not in a new political leader. The power is entirely, completely, and unequivocally residing within your own mind right now, waiting for you to take conscious command.